Hi, me again. Okay, I got time for one more video today, I think. Sorry, I can only do this when my kids are gone, and my kids are never all gone, so. Okay, we're on fermentation. This is the 7th video of the alchemical transmutation process, lead into gold. Okay, so we just got past conjunction, which is the lesser stone. Conjunction takes place in the Anahata chakra, so now we go up to the Vishuddha chakra. This is the copper of alchemical transmutation. Copper is in the dominion of Venus. Venus is harmony and balance and beauty, goddess of love and beauty. Love and beauty is sort of like what it's been, broken down into when the Romans took their gods from the Greeks. The Greeks had already taken their gods from the Egyptians. So it's a little bit far off from what it originated as, but Venus is harmony and balance and, I want to say love, absolutely, but more than what we could imagine love being, not just a connection with someone. It is an overall connection to all things, all energies. It's a lot more than just what we think of as love. So anyway, it is, Venus is the opposing or equal opposite to Mars, which is, ruler of the Anahata, which is the heart chakra, which would make more sense for that to be love if we consider it the way that we think of it. But, Venus is not so much about action or healing. Venus is more about a bigger picture. This is when we get into the bigger picture. So fermentation, aka the copper aspect, dominion of Venus, ruling element is also Earth. Yeah, we're at the Earth element of the above in the transitional phase. Okay, this is the Vishuddha chakra is the first chakra at the above portion of the chakra line. So, like as above, so below. You have the above, you have the below. The Anahata is sort of the line in between. So you're in the first transition from the line to the above. Chemical representation is liquor hepatis. Hepatis. I'm sorry, it's Latin. It is a mixture of ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. Chemically, fermentation is the growth of a ferment in organic solutions via the chemical breakdown of the solution due to an introduction of the ferment or microorganism or bacteria, whatever you'll have. So, like beer, like when you make beer or, anything that you're fermenting, you have to give it time for the yeast, the bacteria to eat away at what's there and combine with it and poop out a new substance. Like in beer, like yeast, it eats sugars from the barley and poops out alcohol, and that's how you have an alcohol content right there. Boom, you have to add the bacteria, and now it's fun. But same thing with fermentation. Psychologically, it's about growth. Essentially, it's about slow growth, and that's why Earth is its ruling element, because Earth is about growth. Psychically, fermentation happens in the Vishuddha, or the copper chakra, as the truths collected in separation and strengthened in conjunction transform from input to output. So this is like, people they're saved, or they're happy, or they're, they've got this new self-discovery epiphany mode or whatever, and they just can't wait to talk about it. They can't wait to share their story with you. They can't wait to save your soul too. That's where you're at now. You're in a really good mood because you made it past the hardest parts of your life, and now you're growing, and it's exciting and it's fun, and you want to share with people, this is how I did it. And it's communication. Your communication refines here. So it's like you do a lot of introspection in the last 2 steps, and in this step you have that introspection, and you know yourself very well. You know who you're not, and you know who you want to be, and you know that you are becoming. that person. So you want to communicate, and you can communicate a lot better now. And this is the point where people get arrogant, or it's hard to talk to people, or you have a lot of woke people or whatever, and they have all this knowledge, and if they still have their ego, they didn't do it right. But they have all this knowledge and all this information, and it's really hard to talk to them, for them to talk to people, for them to have communication at all is really hard because they still have the ego. But that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's like you want to talk to people a lot, and you want to spread and share knowledge and wake people up, and they're just not ready because they haven't gone through the steps that you've gone through. So it's this it's a catch-22. You want to share your joy and your light and your love, but people don't receive you very well because you have that joy and that light and that love. Anyway, psychologically, fermentation is broken down into 2 steps. This is why a lot of the alchemical transmutation process will tell you there's more than 7 steps. There's 12 steps sometimes. Some of them are sub-categorized. This one is one of those. So it's broken down into 2 steps. The first step of fermentation would be called putrefaction. Putrefaction of the conjunction process is hermaphrodite union of yin-yang qi, resulting in the death and resurrection of the spirit to a new, higher level of consciousness. That's the first part, putrefaction. The second part is actually fermentation. It begins with the introducing new life into the resurrected spirit to ensure its survival. This is where you keep studying. You know a lot. You've learned a lot. You've grown a lot. But anybody that really knows a lot knows there's always more that they don't know. The one thing that you'll learn while learning is there's always more to learn type deal. So anyone that tells you they know everything is full of shit. Once the mind is cleared of all useless nonsense of the ego's deceptive misinformation and put back together, oops, sorry, I totally lost my spot. I'm reading my book off of my phone, sorry. Yes. Once the mind is cleared of all useless nonsense of the ego's deceptive misinformation and put back together, it has to practice functioning without those perceptions. So it finds new life, new knowledge, and new connections so that it can grow by means of exploration. Fermentation is a slow and steady process of study and practice. These new experiences flood the mind with new ideas and unite spirit and soul, mind and matter, and the unified above with the unified below. In the fermentation stage, spirit is the butterfly reborn of the chrysalis. Spirit is becoming familiar with its new perspective while at the same time incorporating it into its same lifetime. It's hard to go back to the same people and the same environment that you knew after you put so much of your soul into self-repair. In a room full of familiar faces, you're the only stranger because nobody knows the new you. It can make one feel out of place. Fermentation is the time needed to reintroduce yourself to the environment you wish to shine light into. This is the beginning of your ministry. You separated yourself from the things that do not promote your pillars, and you put your pieces back together with strength and resolve, and now it's time to live the new life. Explore, expand, learn, share, grow. When people see the change in you, they will want to know what happened. Tell them. Show them the light that shines from within you. Share the light. Pass the torch. Give others the chance to shine too. Without hesitation, judgment, or instruction, share the knowledge gained from the hardest experiences of your lifetime. You see the same world in a different light. You see things that you've never noticed were right in front of you. You see yourself now, more clearly and better than ever before. Share that power with the world around you. Be a light in the darkness. There is nothing more rewarding in all the world. Fermentation takes a long time. Okay, it's about growing from what you've learned, growing from who you are, who you realize that you're not. It's slow growth. Fermentation is slow growth, and it takes years. Studying, practice, meditation, becoming is a process that you never stop doing. You can be, but you'll always change, so just being is not enough. You have to become. To become is a consistent, slow growth process. And fermentation is that. Your new perspective and your new knowledge is that added bacteria, that ferment, that changes entirely the contents of what you are, of who you are. And it's a choice that you made. And now it's time to share, but don't ever get too cocky, and don't get preachy, and don't get Bible beating, and that's not what it's about. People will come to you, they'll see the light in you, and they'll tell you that you're different, and they'll tell you that there's something about you, or that they feel like they've known you, or they feel comfortable with you, or there's just this weird energy about you now that makes them feel interested or intrigued or whatever. People will tell you. Strangers on the street tell me all the time. But it's not like you need to go and hunt people down and save their soul. When they talk to you, when they're in your presence, they'll notice, and they'll come to you. And yeah, be open and be honest and non-judgmental, and just, this is what happened. This is what I learned. This is who I am now. That's my story. Take from it what you can, learn what you can, and live your life. That's it. That's how you change the world, slowly, one conversation at a time.